Welcome back to another episode of the Lift Heavy Run Fast podcast. I'm your host, Hybrid Coach Mike. You're listening to episode 5. I think episode 5 of the Lift Heavy. It's not that many. I don't know why I've lost count. Episode 5 of the Lift Heavy Run Fast podcast. And today we're going to be unpacking why I believe many athletes have gotten progressive overload all wrong. Now, before we do that, comment, subscribe if you're watching this online. If you're listening to me on Spotify or wherever, follow it. Whatever you got to do, give us 5 stars. Like the podcast, greatly appreciate it. If you look down below in my links, depending where you're watching this, or head over to my Instagram, click the link in my bio. I have programs available for download. They are the Lift Heavy Run Fast programs. They are the coaching methods that I use for myself and my clients that you can go ahead, buy once, and it will program for you your running for 12 weeks and your lifting, focusing on the squat, bench, and deadlift, getting stronger at those over 12 weeks, done. The program adapts to you. All you have to do is plug your numbers in and the program does the rest. I've made it in such a way that it is available for those wanting to get better at the 5K, 10K, or 21 kilometer distance. They are one-time purchase programs. You buy it once and it's yours forever. I also recommend for anyone that does buy it, repeat the program more than once. You will improve. Repeat the program more than once. It's a 3-month program. You repeat it twice. That is 6 months of coaching sorted, and I promise you, you will have gotten stronger at the squat, bench, deadlift, and I guarantee PBs with the running programs. If you have any questions after you've purchased it, DM me on Insta. I'm happy to help and clarify a few things or guide you a little bit more if you feel a little bit confused as to what you should be doing. But the program does all the thinking for you. All you need to do is follow. Now, why I think athletes have gotten progressive overload all wrong. Let me unpack this a little bit. Many of you know or believe that progressive overload, and it is the ability, or progressive overload is the need to do more each training session. If you're using this in a running context, this week I ran 20 kilometers, next week I should run 21. This week, if in the lifting context, if this week I bench pressed 100 kilos for 3 sets of 10, next week I should bench press 105. Yes, somewhat correct. The issue lies in that many athletes believe that their best performance on a single day is where their strength is right now. When rather, an athlete's strength isn't their performance on a single day or at a single time. It is the average and accumulation, in my opinion, of the weeks leading up to that personal best. Let me give you an example. Many athletes I train will download programs online, similar to that of the Lift Heavy Run Fast program that I mentioned before, or will follow some kind of template that their coach has given them, or their even coaches I coach will say the numbers I'm using for my client are either too fast or too high, not lifting enough, and they're not able to lift them in the gym. And I'll be like, where did you get these numbers from? I got these numbers from their last race, or I got these numbers from their last powerlifting competition, whatever it is. What the athlete does on the day of a competition they have tapered for, recovered for, peaked towards, all that kind of stuff, is not necessarily the athlete that they're going to be in training. The things that cause the adaptation are the things that you need to therefore base your training off, not your single day performance. So base your training off your average performance over the last however many weeks leading up to that PB, as opposed to the day of the PB itself. And I'll explain why. When you have trained for weeks and weeks and weeks on end, and then you get a PB on a particular day, then you go and use that PB to then base your next 2-3 months of training, or whatever it is, however long you do your blocks for. You then use that PB to go and base your next few weeks of training. And you feel, wow, this is way harder than it felt before. I can't keep up. I feel like I'm running myself into the ground. You probably didn't need to then go and use that single day performance to then go and base your next training block off. All you needed to do was do some form of continuation of your training, of your previous training block, and then continue that progression. The reason why is that single day performance, the day you got that PB, is not necessarily who you are, and is not really the best, it is who you are. It is not the best example of who you are, but what is the best example of what worked and what has been working is in the weeks leading up to that personal best. And if everything's been working, you don't need to then go and just change the numbers around because you got a PB on a particular day. You were clearly still progressing anyway. If anything, I would just do a very slight increase on what you were previously doing, as opposed to just going and doing something that, just going and plugging in some numbers that you got on the particular day of your PB. And I'll give you an even more detailed example. Athlete in training, I'm just going to use a strength training context, and then I'll do a running context after. Powerlifting comp in 2 weeks. Athlete is peaking in terms of their training tapering. They're doing 200 for one. The week before they did 190 for one, whatever. On the day of the competition, maybe they're doing 5 sets of squats in total in a training week, whatever it is. And they're able to do that quite comfortably. In their biggest training week, they were doing 5x5 of 180, right? They'll then go and hit a PB. Maybe they get 220 on the day. Awesome. Or 230. They pull something crazy out of the bag. The athlete or the coach then goes, that's your new PB. That's what they're going to base your next training cycle off. The next time they're in the gym, or the next time they go to squat 5 reps again, the athlete, the coaches, depending on whatever percentage they're using, because you got a PB at the last comp and it was 20 kilos heavier than your last PB, that 180 for 5 you did last time, this time you got to do 200. The athlete goes to do the 200 for 5 squat, and it fucking sinks them into the floor and folds them in half. They can't get up. And it's like, why? It's because it was too much. It was unnecessary. I'll give you another example. And what would have worked instead is maybe just doing 180 to 185, which is slightly more than what they did last time, but still sufficient for them to probably get a stimulus for adaptation. Now let's use it in a running context. Next week, I'm doing a 10-kilometer race. In that 10-kilometer race, I am hoping to get, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't want to say, but let's say under 40 minutes. I'll be very happy if I get under 40 minutes comfortably for the 10K. Given where my training is right now, I've been doing most of my speed runs in training anywhere between 340 pace to 420 pace for my speed sessions. If I go and run this 10K in 39 minutes, which is roughly 350 pace or whatever it is, hypothetically, I'm not saying that's what I'm going for, although I would love to get that. I don't think I will. Say if I go and do that, it does not make sense for me to then go and change my whole training block because I've got a PB on that particular day, and then move all of my paces that I need to run faster, right? Because whatever I was doing before, although slower, was clearly working and led me to that PB in the first place. So I was able to adapt along the way, even though I wasn't running as fast as what I did on race day, and it still worked. So why would I then go and change everything, move everything further forward, and now expect another PB at the end of it? If anything, what we're doing is creating more fatigue, pushing me beyond my current work capacity. And to be honest, if things were working, it probably didn't need to be changed all that much anyway. So in the context of why I think people get progressive overload wrong, it's because they're often feeling like they need to change things when they shouldn't. Progressive overload is the indication that everything is working. It's the ability for you to be able to do more, not the fact that you have done more, if that makes sense. Anyway, what it basically means is your hard training has worked. It's easy to think I need to do more in the quest for improvement, while ignoring the fact that whatever you're currently doing is what precisely led to the breakthrough. Progressive overload, in summary, indicates that the work you're doing is appropriate for your current fitness level. It does not mean training needs to get harder. The PR you hit is likely weeks in the making. Your fitness level didn't change overnight. So why should your training? This is what I'm trying to say. It makes sense to look at your most recent PR and make this the basis of your training in some points. I understand why you would want to do that. I would understand why many coaches and athletes do that. But it's important to consider what aspects of your training or fitness changed in order to warrant those harder workouts, instead of just using that one day to base all of your workouts off. Needless to say, your workouts should definitely get harder if you want to improve. They should. Over time, they should. Just not all at once, rather do it bit by bit. I believe you should allow your workouts to progress at a rate over time that is at the same rate of these adaptations, not at the rate of the PB you managed to set on that day. Anyway, that's all I've got to say about this. If anyone needs clarity on what I'm talking about, DM me on Insta. I would love to chat, or if you can comment on YouTube, wherever you are. As always, if you need guidance in your coaching, visit me on Instagram. I've got options. I've got programs you can buy as a one-time thing. Lift Heavy, Run Fast programs. They're out now, one-time purchase, and you will be able to have at least 3 months of your running and lifting mapped out for you. I recommend you run the program twice, so it's 6 months at least. And even then, if you want to continue to follow it, change a couple of the exercises and keep going. You will continue to progress. It's a program, it's a sheet that adapts to you and is tailored to you. It's not some cookie cutter bullshit. If you want something more personalized, you want some more guidance, hands-on, and you want me to do the thinking for you, and you want to work with me on a one-on-one basis, I've got online coaching spots available. Reach out to me either via my website or Instagram, and I'll do the rest. As always, guys, lift heavy, run fast. Thanks for listening or watching, wherever you are. See you next time.